Let me just do something fun to clear off my mind and relax. I just taken a shower and I feel a lot better. So the purpose of Service 23, it's to bridge the gap between Jalan Besar and Serangoon Road because it is quite a long walk from Jalan Besar to Serangoon Road. And it also functions as like hub spoke because how do I put this? From Jalan Besar to Ophir Road and then to Victoria Street, you have 130. But 130 actually takes an alternate route. It doesn't go like this. It actually goes like this because of history. Wait, where is Kitchener Road? Okay, like this, like this, like this. And 23 basically helps you bridge the gap in the other direction. So you have 851, you have 960. From Victoria Street and then Rochor Road, you alight at Rochor Canal Road, and then you transfer to Service 23 to reach like Little India and Farrer Park, like deep within Little India. Historically, 23, if I'm not mistaken, it looped at Tomlinson, and then it was cut short to loop at Rochor Canal Road. Why was that? I think it was because of the existence of Service 65. Like 65, it originally started from Macpherson, and then it got extended to Tampines Interchange. And even back then, 23, it didn't go via Temasek Poly because Temasek Poly wasn't a thing back then. It just went PIE, Tampines Avenue 5, and then Tampines Interchange. 23 and 67, they actually went Serangoon Road PIE, which means Serangoon Road Jalan Koyam Air, PIE, Tampines Avenue 5, and Tampines Central 2 and 1 to Tampines Interchange. So 67 actually had that express sector back then, in the same way as the old 23 did. So basically, this kind of like hub spoke thingy with 851, 960, 23, as well as helping you cross the gap, I mean, bridge the gap between Jalan Besar and Serangoon Road. So if you're heading northbound, but then you're located here, you don't want to walk all the way, you could just take 23 and then you can transfer to like many other bus services like 64, 65, 857, 147, so on. So basically this bridge the gap role only existed after 23 was cut to, I mean truncated. Cut is correct, but it's more like truncated to loop via Rochor Canal Road. So in this case, you could also say that Rochor Canal Road is kind of like a fast turnaround for Service 23. So it efficiently bridges the gap between these two roads. The other reason why 23 succeeds as a bus route, even when there's DTL, is because 23 does serve areas where there is no DTL, like near Temasek Poly. And not just that, as you can see from the map, I'm gonna erase all of this. Downtown line is along Jalan Besar Bencoolen. Northeast line is along Serangoon Road, like this. Actually, kind of away from Serangoon Road a little bit, but the exits are located at Farrer Park's exit is located at Serangoon Road, and then Little India you have to like walk a little bit. So if you're not near Little India MRT or Farrer Park MRT, like you're just in between, 23 would be useful for you. The other thing is that how do I put this? If you're coming from Tampines, but your destination is not along downtown line, it's actually along northeast line, 23 would be useful for you because you could take the bus all the way from Tampines and then alight at Serangoon Road. And then from Serangoon Road, you don't have to like walk all the way to downtown line. You could just take 23 back to Tampines, quick. 23 succeeds because it's kind of like a semi-express service. It doesn't charge express fares, but it works like an express service as long as PIE doesn't get congested. So because the Rochor Canal Road connection has already been there for like many years, I think ever since the 1990s. I don't exactly remember when it was truncated, but the connection has been here for like around 25 to 30 years. I cannot remember, I'm sorry. Or maybe even more than that. You can just check SGWiki or LTG for the historical bus route information. So me and my friends basically had ideas of like, what if we extended 23 to loop somewhere else? Because we eventually rejected the bidirectional idea when I told them about this thing, the purpose of why 23 even exists in the first place. So we were suggesting where else could we loop at? Obviously, you're not going to use Queen Street because that road is designed for cars and not for buses. Obviously, we thought about looping at Middle Road instead, so that you offer Bencoolen Street a little bit more connectivity, because you want to target like these areas, right? But the problem is that there might not be enough like right turn filter from the bus stop all the way to turn right to Middle Road. So yeah, that's the problem. So I came up with a solution that again, this is just me floating ideas around based on what they were suggesting. So Jalan Besar, I mean Bendemeer, Jalan Besar, Bencoolen, Middle Road, Victoria Street, Rochor Road, Rochor Canal Road, and Serangoon Road, like this. So instead of like just looping like this, we made it go one round. So the reason why this thing looks good on paper but wouldn't actually work in real life is because um you don't have like left turn slip roads. That's one. So you would waste a lot of time, and then you have one junction to go through. So you would waste time turning, waste time turning, waste time turning, and then I know it's a left turn, but this left turn involves a pedestrian crossing, and it's not like you can just bypass it via a slip road or any left turn slip road or anything. So the turnaround would be made a lot slower, and even though you're not destroying connectivity, you're basically pissing off people who want the fast turnaround, like from here to here. And not just that, but like from Tampines, they want to reach here fast, right? They don't really want to waste time doing this. And not just that, the existence of 130, 851, 960, like what I've described just now, this would basically deter LTA from even actually considering this idea, because they're just like, you could just take 851 and 960 from over here to hub spoke, right? So yeah, that's what they would say if we actually sent this idea to LTA. Another legitimate reason why this wouldn't be a good idea is because of the lack of proper bus infrastructure. Like, it's not just like having bus lanes or bus priority. It's not like, oh, you just paint a yellow line and then call it a bus lane and call it a day. No, your bus stops need to be big enough to accommodate all these buses. And you do know that like Bugis Junction, the bus stop opposite it, it is a recipe for disaster, because yeah, I don't even need to explain much. You could just go there and observe for yourself, especially during weekends. Even weekdays, it's kind of like sus as well. So this could only work if it's like a fast turnaround, like you actually have like bus priority in place. And I'm not just saying, oh, you just paint a yellow line and call it a day. You need actual like bus priority for this to even work. And obviously Singapore doesn't have that. Our infrastructure just doesn't allow. I mean, not our, because I'm technically an outsider, but you get the idea. So in short, no fast turnaround, it wouldn't work. Yes, it has its own benefits, but these are kind of already covered by the hub spoke, the transfer to and from other services as well. So yeah, that's one reason. It's not really because, oh, at Bugis there's already downtown line and duplication. No, it's not because of that, but it's more of like the three services that I've described, it's the hub spoke thingy. And that alone is kind of like sufficient because 851 and 960 they already come by quite often, and 851 has an average of like 10-minute frequency, so it's good. And then 130, okay, it honestly leaves a lot to be desired. That's one thing, but you could just wait for 130. It's not the worst wait in the world or anything. Because 130 isn't even OTA. Like the frequency isn't so bad to the point whereby it actually needs like OTA. But I want to talk about not just um see, here's the thing. You technically don't um break any connections by this. It's just kind of like a 140 situation. You're just slowing down the bus service. That's one thing. But I'm actually going to tell you another reason why you cannot break this Rochor Canal Road connection. Not just like trolling like this, but the reason why you cannot outright break this fast connection or fast turnaround is because it's not just because the people need like a fast turnaround, like a hub spoke from Jalan Besar to like Serangoon Road. That's only one thing. The other issue is that the reason why people prefer 23, I mean, not everyone, but people going towards this area of Little India prefer 23 over like taking MRT and then hub spoke or whatever is because 23 is at their doorstep. This one is doorstep, their destination, and then, or maybe even they live here. It could be their doorstep as well. And if 23 is at their doorstep, meaning like at Tampines, Avenue 5, Avenue 1, they would take 23 if they are not near DTL, like the parts of Tampines Avenue 1 that are not near DTL at all, like nearer to like Temasek Poly, nearer to Tampines Avenue 8 or 3, basically. These areas do not have like immediate access to DTL, and if they want to go here, they would opt for 23. So if you break this fast turnaround, or if you break this link completely and extend 23 carelessly, what they would do is that they would need to take downtown line, and then they would need to find some way to cross over to the other side. So again, going back would to Tampines wouldn't be a pain because they still have 23, but going to Little India, it's really going to be a pain because you cut off this fast turnaround, especially if you carelessly make 23 bidirectional. Even if you choose to make 23 bidirectional for whatever reason, I don't know, and you choose to send another service to cover like this, like bridge this, it's not the most ideal solution because you would need to hub spoke from this service to 23, or if you're coming from like Tampines, you would need to take 23 and then you would need to hub spoke to this service. And nobody really wants to make this transfer when they have had a 23 previously, and then you amended 23 away from Rochor Canal Road. No more fast turnaround. So the implications are that if you look at it from a macro scale, Little India and Tampines, you would run basically empty buses towards Little India. But then Little India to Tampines would be full kind of thing. because you intentionally or unintentionally pushed all these people to downtown line. And not only do they have to squeeze it like on board downtown line, they still have to find a way to make it across here. So effectively, 23 would still be a loop. I mean, no, 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 no. I mean, if you carelessly extend 23, like you overstretch the loop, let's say you make it loop at Bencoolen Street or something, or Tomlinson, or you make it bidirectional, they would take forever to get from like one direction to the other direction if it was a loop, and if it was bidirectional, they basically have no way of like getting through. They need to take downtown line and then they need to use the service that you introduced to compensate the loss of Rochor Canal Road for 23. So essentially, you would effectively be turning 23 into a unidirectional service, which is not good. And keep in mind, this is a thing because Serangoon Road and Jalan Besar are like really, really far apart. It's the same logic as like Sims Avenue, Changi Road, Geylang Road, where Changi Road and Geylang Road they would have access penalty to East-West line, and that's the reason why Service 2 still exists. But this is basically a much more extreme version of Sims Avenue and Geylang Road or Changi Road. I myself have done the walk before, especially at the areas with the widest gap, and let me tell you, it's not fun at all. Even walking along Kitchener Road is not fun. The roads are quite, I mean, the pavements are like quite narrow, or sidewalks, whatever you call them. However, me and my friends, we suggested a solution that we're not doing anything to service 23. Like, we're still gonna keep service 23. I mean, without the loop, without this extended loop, of course. I mean, that was just an idea we floated around. Like, we just played with it a little bit. We're still gonna keep 23 like this. And you would find out that service 23, its reliability is heavily dependent on whether PIE actually screws up or not. Because, you know, PIE between Jalan Koyam Air, I mean, between MacPherson Road, okay, should I even say MacPherson? Basically, the St. Andrews, MacPherson, Upper Serangoon Road, Bendemeer Road, that giant junction, between that area and Jalan Yunos, it gets really congested during peak hours, basically, especially PM peak. And 23 would be affected, and you would see a long frequency gap, and then you would see a lot of buses like bunching together. So we came up with a solution on how to fix 23. We kept 23. We didn't, I mean, somebody had an idea to send it to Tampines North, but then someone else brought up that the fact that like people still do take 23 from Temasek Poly to inside Tampines interchange because it's like the fastest way, and that's why you shouldn't take 23 away from Tampines interchange. Like you shouldn't extend this thing to Tampines North. We did it with another service. But essentially, we didn't touch 23 at all, but we did introduce a 23M. Okay, like if we zoom out a little bit, so this is basically to maintain frequency at the loop area, which is where people use this hub swap, right? So what we did is that I told them, okay, they decided to start from Kallang MRT. I mean, Kallang ITH, which is the replacement for Geylang Lorong 1 bus terminal. And then I told them, take the straightest route up, Upper Boon King Road, Galang, yes, Upper Boon King Road, Geylang Baru. Why did I say Galang? Geylang Baru. And then this, Bendemeer Road, Jalan Besar. Basically, we'll just copy 23. And because there is already a bus service 140 doing this, I was like, I have a new use for this conceptual 23M. Some of them got confused and thought I was gonna send it through here. I mean, thought I was gonna send it through here, but I told them at all costs you should not allow the service to touch Sims Avenue or Geylang Road, like Aljunied Road, because this is the congestion prone area and you don't really want this 23 conceptual 23M to touch this area and screw up the reliability, because this thing is meant to fix the reliability of 23, so you don't want this bus service to be unreliable in the first place. So I was like, do not make this bus service go through Aljunied. They thought I was going to do another 125, but basically my idea was that only in this direction I'm going to send it to McPherson, Gunting Lane, Kallang Way. Basically, I'll add like maybe two or three. I think two new stops along Genting Lane, Kallang Way, that Lorong Bakar Batu. Come out like this, calls at this bus stop so that people are able to hub spoke to other bus services along Bendemeer Road. I mean, if they want to go to like Farrer Park, they want to basically if they wanted to access like these areas, right? You still have 125. But this bus service is based, 125 is prone to delays as well. So I was like, if you send this 23M inside this industrial estate only in this direction, you could not only assist 23, you could also assist 125. This one is more of like it being unreliable due to expressway congestion, and then this one is more of like the frequency just sucks, especially during weekends. And I'm pretty sure people actually do still go to work at the industrial estate during weekends as well. So I was like, okay, it's a good opportunity to send this inside to 8125 as well. So basically the main purpose is to bring them all to this bus stop or bring them to Kallang. Like basically this industrial estate, this area, hub spoke bus stop along Bendemeer Road, so that they don't have to rely on just 125. And then I gave them new bus stops as well. And then from here on, uh, just go back to Kallang ITH. Simple. So again, why is it only unidirectional like this and not like this? Well, it's because if you really wanted to do it like this, you could just take 140, or if you happen to be along Geylang Bahru, you could just take literally any other bus service that does the Whampoa East turnaround and you could transfer to 125. It's not that bad. Like there's 26, 61, I think 853 slash 853M as well. Even though 853M, I don't know the fate of that bus service, but it's probably gonna get withdrawn in the future. Oh yes, and 107, 107M as well. So yeah, you have like 4 bus services to do that thingy. 26, 61, 107 slash M and 853 slash M. Whether 853M actually survives or not, I don't know, but let's just take it that it doesn't survive, so effectively it's just 26, 107, that's 26, 61, 107, 107M, and 853. So yeah, you could do that and then transfer to 125. It's fine. So basically, in this direction, it's to 8125. In this direction, it's also to 8125, and to get people to hub spoke without relying on 125's crappy frequencies, I would say. And basically, this just takes the fastest route towards Kallang ITH without touching Sims Avenue or Geylang Road, which is where the congestion usually comes from. Especially around this area, it's actually quite bad. The people jaywalking, the vehicles just parked on the side of the road or stuff like that. And obviously to boost 23's frequency along here as well. Like when you have this 23M, this thing could run full day every day as well. No harm in doing that because there's bound to be people who want to cross anyway. So yeah, I mean, you technically don't have to run it all the way till night at night because at night PIE is not gonna be congestion prone like 24/7, right? So it depends on what time you run 23M until. It really depends on the demand coming from this industrial estate. So you might want to survey them if you want such a route to exist. So yeah, this is basically my friends and my conceptual the conceptual idea that me and my friends came up with. I mean, Kalang ITH was suggested by my friend. This one also suggested by my friend. It's the same as 23, but this industrial sector was suggested by me, like this unidirectional troll. How would I even describe this? This is kind of like Service 42. Like it goes here first and then it goes here. So it's kind of like, conceptually it's like Service 42. There is also another fun idea that I've shared with my friends before, but I haven't really shared it to YouTube. So as you guys know, RTS Link is coming up and probably 856 wouldn't be able to cope with the demand in future. Like no matter how many short working trips you run, this service is gonna be strained. So I was like, I'm obviously not gonna make a bus service that just does this to Woodlands North, right? Because there's literally already Thompson East Coast Line. What I'm trying to do is to create a service that isn't just some mere clone of 856. Because at that point you might as well just run more short working trips, right? So my idea is basically conceptually you have something like this. So you could even renumber this thing to this thing, and basically what this modified version would do is basically you see these flats are gonna be done pretty soon. Actually pretty soon, I'm not even sure. So 911, this bus service needs Bendy buses urgently. Just like how 903, 912, 913, they all need Bendy buses urgently. This one only really needs Bendy buses during school hours, and then 912 slash A slash B you could survive with just single deckers at any given point in time. So basically I would say 912 you should just rent bendies from the start of service up till end of PM peak. You don't need to run it all the way till like midnight, I would say. You could just survive on SDs. But then this is not really that easy because it's like you're gonna need to. I think logistically it's gonna be a nightmare because it's like there's a reason why the mini buses are full day on 912 because it's easier to like handle. They don't have to go back and park and stuff like that. Because it's like you got A, you got B, you got 912, so it's hard to just remove the mini buses midway and then replace them with SDs per se. That's how I would say it. It's also a good thing that like 912's mini buses cover both East Loop and West Loop and aren't really confined to just one loop per se. It's still complicated though, so I don't really want to say much about that. But basically, the Woodlands feeders they need mini buses urgently, and 911 is just one of them. Service 911 goes via Street 13, right? So because 911 along this site, it really needs help. So I'm going to make this service do this, do this, and I'm going to extend it to Woodlands North. So basically it's just a modified variant, whatever you call it. I know the roads inside here are gonna change, but tentatively you could do this. So the main purpose is not to make this thing duplicate 856, which does this. So I need to make this route different. I need to make sure that more people have adequate access to Woodlands North, effectively taking away demand from 856, basically offloading it. 856 is basically for people along like the main road. But this conceptual bus service, I wanted to serve the areas that aren't served by 856. Basically this area or like this area. I've debated about going through here, here, and here, but then there's already 913M. You don't really need to boost this area a lot more because this area needs it more than this area, obviously, and it doesn't really make sense to like do this and then this because there is nothing here, and then you would end up double calling this area effectively. If you don't know what double calling is, it's just some random term I coined up to tell you guys that like you're serving this area and you're serving this area again effectively. So try to avoid that unless you have a necessary, unless it's like really necessary. Whereas if you serve here, you could cover all of these areas. You could cover all of these areas as well, like this. Masjid as well. So yeah, it's an alternative to the amenities as well as to feed people to Woodlands North. Basically, I want to make this service loop at Woodlands North. I want to make this service loop at Woodlands North, but I want to make it a clone of 856. And I don't want to make it a useless Thompson East Coast Line clone as well, like this. So that's the reason why I chose to. It has to offload 856. It has to like take away demand. So I'm not targeting this area specifically. I'm targeting all the areas that do not have immediate access to 856 to divert away demand, to divert demand away from 856. So obviously there is no point sending it through here. So yeah, this is how you plan your modified services. Because you gotta keep in mind, like, this is industrial and 903 already covers it. Whereas people along this side, I'm just gonna make them walk towards this side. People along this side, I'm just gonna make them walk towards this side. And you happen to be here, well, you could take 903. It's frequent enough. You cross the road and then you could just intercept this service. So yeah, conceptually, go here, go here, go here, go here, and here. But obviously there's gonna be like changes within this area, right? So, but tentatively just make this route like this. And in future, we could probably reroute it, improve on it. In case this area actually becomes like a roundabout or something, let's just say conceptually, roundabout, because these buildings are gonna go, unfortunately. So, you could even do this. It's kind of troll, but if you really want maximum catchment, why not? If you want fast, 856. You want trolley a little bit, take this new bus service. And if you don't want this troll, it's fine. Just make it go straight. I mean, this one, uh, it's basically just something different to differentiate it from like 856. To give these people better connectivity, basically. Actually, come to think of it, this is not really relevant to the video, but I feel like people living along these areas, they would be given priority to these blocks. Or maybe here. I don't really know how housing works in Singapore in general. Maybe I need to learn from the woman that shouts housing, housing, housing instead.